caused you these problems, that's disrupted your life. Honor them above yourselves. What's that look like? When I think of honoring somebody, I see lifting them up. Not on a pedestal, but just lift them up. Hey, Zach. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. So why does he throw this in here when we're talking, when he's given us things we can do? And as I look at that, it all goes back to serving him. Isn't that what we're doing in any relationship? You want to come in and have a seat? Sit with the big boys back there. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Okay, share with God's people who are in need and practice hospitality. I just want you to listen to some of these. I'm going to break down some of these later verses because I think they kind of hit home pretty good. Bless those that persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Okay, there's a good one. How does that factor in? How does factoring caring for somebody or doing some kindness to somebody who just persecuted, who just gave you a hard time, who just called you this name or that, or threatened to take your kids or back to court, or any of those things? You know, is it a boss firing you or a co-worker threatening your position? You know, is it a customer who's making you feel one way or another, right? Rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. See, I would automatically think the other. I want to rejoice while they're mourning, and I want to mourn while they're rejoicing. You know, when they get that new car or everything's set, and you know, and I'm thinking, how is that fair, right? Okay. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. And wait a minute, it says do not be conceited. Okay, sorry. All right, so here's some verses that I really want to hear. I want you to hear. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Man, I have a whole list of things that went on continually for years, and it seemed relentless. It seemed that Rhonda's whole life agenda was to see how miserable she could make my life. I'm not saying that's how it was. It just, well, maybe it was. I don't know. It really did seem that way. And you know why I can say that? 3 years after we were divorced, this is what she told me. I've been talking to a counselor, and I really need to tell you this, Steve. 2 weeks after we were married, I regretted marrying you, and I hated you ever since. We were married 12 years. Okay, 12 years. Now, with somebody after the first 2 weeks decided they made a mistake and hated me, how much do you think she was trying to work it out? How much do you think she was in on this? You know? And then we're separated, and now she's going to take me to court, and I'm going to need 3 jobs to pay for child support and alimony, and she'll take the kids and move to another state, and I'll see them when she's ready or thinks I can see them. On and on and on, and you're asking me not to repay evil for evil? Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everybody, in spite of this. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Right? How do you do that? How do you expect me to live at peace with somebody who's out to destroy me? That's what I feel like. They're looking to make my life miserable. And divorce, those of you that are either been divorced or in it, it affects everything. All right? It affects you emotionally. It affects you physically. It affects you materially, financially. You got kids. Oh my gosh. You hear what he's asking me to do? You hear what he's asking us to do? Do not take revenge, my friend, but leave room for God's wrath. Ah, good part. For it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. On the contrary, which means just the opposite of, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, it will heap burning coals on his head. Well, that sounds promising also. But the meaning of this is different from what it sounds like. Okay? When God's wrath isn't just for that person. It isn't just for Rhonda, right? I'm included in that based on my behavior. I'm included in that based on the things that I do. Okay? It isn't just for those evil people or who we perceive. And the coals on their head, that actually means them changing their heart. From tradition says thousands of years ago, and I don't know where it started with different peoples, different places, but somebody would walk around with a bowl of coals on their head to show their remorse for doing wrong. And that was a sign. I don't know how that ever came about, but that's how tradition has it. Okay? And then the last line of this says, do not become overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. All right, so what's stronger here? Evil or good? Good. You can overcome evil with good. And the point of all this that I'm trying to say is this. It is so easy to fall into what I felt like I deserved to get back. You know, it does. Where do you turn? It seems endless. We all have a breaking point, don't we? We all have that point where it is just we hit that line and now we're done and I'm charging back, right? Problem is I can't find that anywhere in here. Okay? I shared this not too long ago, and it came from Stephen when he was doing talking about reconciliation. This is really what the Bible is about. It's about reconciling. It's us to God and us to one another. And at the end of Revelations for my book is 1,950 pages, okay? Where all this started is back here in Genesis, page 10. You know, when Adam went in and he ate from the one tree, God said to eat anything but that. So for 1,940 pages, God's showing us stories and principles to be reconciled. I cannot find anything that says that I should pay back. Man, I really want to. I want to be justified in the things, you know. I want to be able to take my pseudo-Christianity off for a few minutes and go and do those things I really want to do and then go back and put it on without a consequence, you know. But that's not how life works. That's not how God works, all right? And there is a reasoning for all this, and it really is. It's a two-edged sword in this area. One, God has given us an opportunity to change and become men of integrity, to become men that are Christ followers. If we're called to be Christ followers, and if we say we're Christ followers, then we need to do the things that Christ did. Are you doing that? Every day, as you run into people, are you doing the things that Christ is asking you to do? Am I doing it? Am I standing up for His name? Am I living the life that He would call me to live? Am I able to override my emotions to do what's right? Can I do it? He says I can. In Corinthians it says there's no sin that's come upon you that is not common to all of us. You know, it's not a sin to be angry. It's a sin with what we do with it. But God always offers a way out. Okay, so I can't even use the excuse I've gone over the edge. Doesn't work. He says it doesn't work. You know, what is it we want out of this? You know, if we live by the Spirit, what are it's love, joy, peace, self-control, gentleness, kindness. Don't you want to live like that? Don't we want to experience that in our lives? Right? That's the stuff that we need to hold on to. And so we have to take these things in Romans 12 and we have to say no to them, don't we? We have to say we have to say yes to what it says, but no to how we feel. Okay? So let me give you the questions for today.